But the reason why I think even the pessimistic people thought this team would be mildly competitive this year is because of the depth of their rotation and because of their reputation of making guys simply better. And today, Ryan Weathers is the absolute epitome of that. As a guy acquired for a rental Garrett Cooper at the deadline last year, who at first glance looked like somebody that had so much to still figure out about himself and had repeatedly failed at the big league level when he came over, to change so much around in the offseason, to look so good in spring training, and to continue to show so much consistency during the real games, to make these interesting adjustments throughout this season already, including today, where he goes 6 scoreless innings against the D-backs. He has sewn together 5 consecutive quality starts. He's allowed 1 run in his last 3 starts combined. He's just been overall the most valuable pitcher on this team.
We were talking like a couple shows ago, Eli, about like, oh, if the Marlins are gonna have an All-Star, who's it gonna be? And none of us like really had a true answer. Now you kind of have a true answer. I think that this guy's definitely on All-Star, unless he completely falls apart, which I don't think he will because he's been so consistent. I think this is your Marlins, maybe only All-Star. Maybe they'll get a bullpen guy in there because I think they've been good too. But man, implementation of sinker has been incredible for him. Using the sinker about 12% of the time. And he's getting ground balls at a 50% rate. So it's not just his strikeouts, right? I mean, strikeouts are great, but he doesn't have to be dominant in getting 10, 11 strikeouts a game. Eli, I love my ground balls. I love my Brian Hoeing ground balls, right? So I like to see ground balls from pitchers like this. I watched Ryan's dad pitch as a bullpen pitcher, mostly for the Marlins. And now watching Ryan succeed is just super cool, man. Nice kid, really nice guy. He's got the long flowing hair, which you love to see that. He's awesome, and he's been very, very good.
His first few outings of the year, it was a little inconsistent, where sometimes he would be really overpowering and some other times he would get soft contact, but his style has become a lot more defined the last 3 outings. It was a 68% ground ball rate against the Tigers when he went 8 innings. It was 57% in his previous outing against the Brewers. And then today, 67% ground ball rate. And to give you guys perspective, league average is about 43%. His season average now is at 51, which is almost perfectly in line with Sandy Alcantara numbers. And it's also perfectly in line with, I would say, the Marlins offense this year. And I've referenced this a few different times, how one reason why the Marlins are so bad at scoring runs and reason why they hint at so many double plays is because they have so many guys that just struggle to elevate the ball at all. And so even during this recent stretch of success, the Marlins offense has still been pretty bad, and they still hit into a lot of ground balls. And if you are pitching in a way that turns opposing lineups into a version of the Marlins lineup, then you know you're doing a very good job. And especially in this game, what stood out to me is how he even gets those grounders, even when he elevates his fastball. Like, that's kind of counterintuitive. Even when he throws it like 4-seamers up in the zone, today he was getting some grounders on them as well. The sinker has been, I would say, as you mentioned, a really valuable tool for him as well, in terms of picking that up. But he just has a deep pitch mix overall. I mean, the improvement that his slider has shown this year has been extraordinary. For it to be a true put-away pitch to go along with his changeup at times, both of those secondary pitches from Weathers have turned him into a much better strikeout guy than he used to be. Like, for his career, he only has an 18% strikeout rate, but this year, including today, it's right around 20. He's getting more strikeouts, he's getting a lot more ground balls, and he's working deeper into games. And it has just dramatically turned around his whole career. In fact, the sample sizes last year from Weathers, it's very similar to this year. Last year was 15 games, 12 starts, and 57 2/3 innings. This year, it's 11 games, 11 starts, 62 2/3 innings. And his ERA has been fully cut in half and then some. It's gone down from 6.55 last year to 3.16 this year so far in almost identical sample sizes. Is there anything else you want to add on Weathers, Kevin? We've already been gushing about just how much he's improved in such a short time.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't incorporate it all too much, but the sweeper, every time he does use it, it's been really freaking good. Five of his seven strikeouts were on that sweeper. All of them were swinging strikeouts with that sweeper. I really don't know why he doesn't use it more, but I mean, hey, it works out for him. It's an interesting pitch for sure from a start to start basis. He used it as his second most pitch in his last start against Milwaukee. This time he uses it as his least used. It's his third most used pitch overall this season. Went with the sinker a little bit more, just a bit more, 21% of the time against 20%. But yeah, I mean, Weathers has been really freaking good for this team. He's also given them a lot of length, has gone 6+ in every start this month. This, I believe, is the fifth time this season he goes six or more innings. So you have to be very happy with what you've gotten in Ryan Weathers. And this is a guy who I think, Danny Alvarez of Electrabasi put out a really good tweet about this, how it really felt like the Jesus Luzardo situation for him coming into it wasn't really a clear cut starter on his team, was starter reliever, really no clear role for him. But I mean, little by little, and this is a guy who was supposed to be a swingman entering this season. He has solidified himself into this rotation, and definitely really really happy to see the results that the Marlins have gotten out of someone like a Ryan Weathers, especially the pitch mix usage, which has been very interesting from a start to start basis. Again, it's not always the same exact pitches as the most used. Today it kind of lined up with his career norms for the most part, but last week it wasn't the case, and you could go back and it's very different pitch usage with his arsenal.